everyone, again, and welcome to my channel. I am Karen Truth, and today we are going to be talking about this particular controversial topic that has been coming out of Florida. I've been waiting to do this video, and I'm going to say this. I have a lot of video that I want to do a topic on, but I'm going to say time is not really of the essence for me, and this is the thing. There are so many things going across the world, going on around the world, that is very important. And also, that I cannot cover all of it, but just some part of it, especially things that I have interest in especially in many topics like this. Also, a topic that involves this particular curriculum that Florida have recently approved and getting the backlash for. Now, before we get into this, I'm gonna say do not forget to press that like button and subscribe. And I'm gonna be bringing up a particular video about this particular issue, and I'm gonna be giving you guys my own, commentary on it. So let me just go around and bring up these videos, and then we will talk about all of these particular issues that have been surrounding us lately.
Host said this.
Obviously, I'm not black, but I'm Jewish. Would someone say about the Holocaust, for instance, that there were some benefits for Jews?
So I'm gonna say this is a particular video interview that the Fox News had, and they talk about this particular Holocaust topic. I'm gonna have to say this before we get right into this. Nobody benefited from nothing. Nobody benefited from the Holocaust. The people that were in that camps did not benefit from it, and it is very disrespectful to even think that, oh my god, okay, they might have benefited from something. Oh, because they had they were people that had handworks. They know they had special abilities to for whatever they want to do in the creative or industrial side, that they benefited. They did not benefit, first of all, because at the end of the day they were working for the people that kept them in prison. They were working for people that actually kept them in prison, in camps. They benefited nothing from that. And for somebody to come out here and say they benefited from those is absolutely crazy. How did they benefit? By getting gassed? Because that was what happened at the end of the day. That was what happened. And that does not differ. That is like, also slavery did not benefit. Even the people that knew how to do it in craftsmanship and all of that, that had special specification on how to build things, or had a handwork or whatever you want to call it, they did not benefit from that either. At the end of the day, they still lived to work for the people that kept them in that particular position. It did not benefit them. So the fact that Florida was thinking about this was a great idea, no, it's not. And I feel like a lot of people should come out and speak out about this, talking about, oh, because they had a handwork, they have a special abilities, all of a sudden they had, it benefited them. It did not. At the end of the day, even though you do know how to do a craft, or you get some one person angry, they don't care about what kind of thing you bring work. If you had a handwork, or if you specialize in whatever thing, they still gonna take away you still not gonna live to see the next day. So that is absolute nonsense at the end of the day.
Right, while they were hanging out in concentration camps, you learned a strong work ethic, right? Maybe you learned a new skill.
Did you ever read Man's Search for Meaning? Vic Frank?
They learned a new skill. And who did those skills benefited? It did not benefit them. And at the end of the day, they were still getting gassed. Some people talk as if they really don't have humanity in them, like they really don't think about things before they open their mouth, disrespecting the history of somebody going through something like that. It is not a lot of, it's not something that you just talk about, oh, maybe they benefited. How would you like to be in that position and benefit from that either? Do you think they benefited from that, working for somebody else and their life being tied? Like literally, it didn't matter if you had any special skills.
Talks about how you had to survive in a concentration camp by having skills. You had to be useful. Utility kept you alive.
Michael, as a Holocaust survivor, what do you think about what you just heard being said there in that clip from Fox News?
Well, I'm disgusted, basically. My father was an accountant, and he had basically negotiating skills. He and my brother were gassed in Auschwitz. My mother learned how to pack bullets that killed Jewish people. There were over 6 million people killed in the Holocaust, over 1 million people killed in Auschwitz. And there is no silver lining to killing 6 million people or talking about slaves and the benefits of slaves and learning and what they were doing. Fox News host should apologize. Fox News Network should apologize. There's absolutely no room for fake news like that.
And absolutely true. I absolutely agree with what he said. Nobody under some kind of enslavement or being made to work for somebody that at the end of the day they're just gonna take your life. How does that benefit you? Now we're gonna go on to this next particular topic over here, because this is a very, very sensitive topic. I'm not gonna lie, it is a very, very sensitive topic, and the way people talk about it as if it is something to be made fun of or something to. Why would you want to teach that? Why would anyone wake up in the morning and decide this is what we're gonna do? It's the gaslighting for me. And this is not even ignorance. So we're going to go to the next video. We're going to go to the next one over here.
Heavy backlash after it announced students will be taught that slavery benefited black people by teaching useful skills. Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Jacksonville today to publicly oppose the changes. The NAACP also criticizing the new guidelines. You see it right there in a statement. They said, quote, "Today's actions by the Florida state government are an attempt to bring our country back to a 19th century America where black life was not valued nor are rights protected."
And I'm going to say this before I get into this particular topic. I know there are some people in this particular community that would think, oh my God, yeah, maybe they benefit. How? At the end of the day, they were not getting paid. Was this paid labor in the slavery times? Was there? Even some people that were, among the people that were traders to their own people that ran away or that helped so that they can gain their own freedom. At the end of the day, they didn't get that freedom either. You get me? So I understand some people might be out here, because I know who they are, probably be like, oh, but did he benefit? Blah, 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 blah. No, this is not about your feelings. This is not about what is happening right now. This is about history. And everyone should literally sit down and think about this, because they did not benefit from whatever skills. And they're talking, the way they talk about this skills topic is like the Africans that they brought had no skills. They had skills already. So you brought skilled people already to come and work. So the Africans that came were not unskilled people. Let's not forget about that. It's the same thing like saying the people that were in the camp, in the Jewish camp, in the Holocaust, had no skill. They had to learn skill in the camp, like that idiot over there just said. All of these people had skills and they all suffered. And history is not to be made a mockery of. Nobody should be making a mockery of other people's pain.
Are an attempt to bring our.
So I'm going to just go over here and bring up another video over here. Let me see. because this is a very, very sensitive topic, and a lot of people do not understand the pain because they did not have to go through that. This is something that if you listen and if you actually learn about this history, your heart will break. There were children that were called crocodile baits, babies that were used as crocodile baits. Is that a skill that they learned also? What did those babies benefited from that, other than their lives being taken away?
Black history in the state of Florida. The new curriculum from the Florida Board of Education includes instruction for middle school students to learn, quote, how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. That language drew some sharp criticism, including from Vice President Kamala Harris, who is heading to Florida today.
Just yesterday in the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
The state's largest teachers union called the new standards a step backward and said students deserve the full truth of American history. This comes after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill last year regulating how race is taught in public schools. For its part, the Florida Department of Education says the standards do incorporate all components of Black history, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I'm going to say this absolutely bullshit because, first of all, I know where this is going, especially when it comes to Ronnie. Ron DeSantis is not going to let them really teach the full thing. Like, I understand if you want to teach about the full thing. The full thing is nobody benefited from it. Apart from the people that were selling the slaves and the people that were buying the slaves. You get me? Now we're gonna go into this because I'm gonna be very, very sincere in this particular podcast because I am not in the mood for this nonsense, and I'm so not here for anybody that is gonna be standing with this and be like, oh, but they want to teach about the whole component. The whole component is the people that were being enslaved did not benefit nothing from it. They benefited absolutely nothing from it. So we're going to go into the next video over here because I also have reaction videos from other people as usual and people expressing how they feel about this particular topic and giving their own opinion about this. Let me see. Hold on. Let me bring this video up here. So after this video, I'm going to be bringing the reaction videos of other people, how they reacted to this particular crazy news. Because I don't think anybody, if you don't want to teach it, at first, Florida said they are not going to be teaching it. They say they don't want to teach it. And then they went back, sat down and talked about how to teach it in a way that will benefit them and actually gaslight everybody.
But this is John Brown. John Brown was enslaved in the mid-1800s and subjected to excruciating experiments by a Georgia doctor named Thomas Hamilton. Hamilton believed there were physiological differences between Black and white people, and he used Brown's body to prove it. After he escaped slavery, Brown described what happened to him in an autobiography. Dr. Hamilton set to work to ascertain how deep my Black skin went. This he did by applying blisters to my hands, legs, and feet, which bear the scars to this day. That happened because Dr. Hamilton, a slave owner, was trying to scientifically bolster the prevailing ideology that Black people were mentally and physically inferior to white people and therefore benefited from enslavement. That thinking was so pervasive at the time, it spawned propaganda like this print from slavery apologists who pushed a narrative that enslaved Blacks in the U.S. were better off than white factory workers in Britain. And it
Can you imagine the amount of gaslight for somebody to come out there and say something like that and be like, yeah, if you're an enslaved person worker in the US, you are better off than a construction worker in England. Construction workers in England were getting paid. It's the caucasity for me, the audacity. The people, construction workers, were getting paid. They have their freedom. They were not enslaved. And you're telling that enslaved people that had to work for every day, and if they don't do what the master tell them, they're going to meet some consequences.
Provided material for slaveholders like South Carolina Senator John Calhoun, who in an 1837 speech argued that slavery was a boon to Black people. Never before has the Black race of Central Africa, from the dawn of history to the present day, attained a condition so civilized and so improved, not only physically, but morally and intellectually. This kind of thinking gave rise to junk science like drapetomania, which translates to runaway madness. It was a clinical term of the 1850s based on the belief that slavery so vastly improved the lives of the enslaved, they would have to be mentally ill to run away.
Sometimes when people say things like this, I'm like, is it possible to switch places, put you in that position and ask you if that was okay? Wouldn't you run? You have no freedom, no say about your own existence and your life. And some people really do sit down here and think that, oh my God, that was great. How about you take that spot? How about you take that spot? The thing is, it is very infuriating to hear somebody gaslight you and talk about, oh, this has improved the life of the slaves and all of that. And I'm like, why didn't you switch places? If it was so vast and improving and all of that, so good, why didn't you switch places? But these are the same people, when you say, would you switch places, they will tell you to your face no, because they understand the importance of freedom. This is absolutely insane.
The term drapetomania was not removed from medical textbooks until after 1914. Human experiments and racist propaganda and fake science were used to prove something that we all know now is patently false. Black people did not benefit from slavery, quite obviously. But this year, in Florida, the echoes of those falsehoods can be heard once again. Yesterday, the Florida Board of Education approved new standards for Black history instruction that require lessons for middle schoolers to include, quote, how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. The old racist trope from the 1850s that slavery benefited the enslaved seems to have been resurrected in Florida, and middle schoolers in that state may be required to learn it. As part of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' efforts to whitewash Black history, high schoolers in the state's public school system will now be taught that race massacres, like the racial terror in Ocoee in 1920, the largest incidents of voting day violence in American history, that those massacres included acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans.
Can you listen to that? Like, yeah, the fact that they went into all these towns, burning down, like the Black Wall Street, burning down, other people's town, the place where, Black people were, progressing, burning that down because somebody lied or somebody had an issue and some jealousy and envy, things like that. They're going to say, okay, it was the Black people that did it. They started it. And that's the kind of gaslighting that I'm like, I do not understand where America is going, the US is going in particular. I really don't. I don't understand why you would want to take 10,000 steps back. All because of power. Because let me tell you this, the only thing that is going through Ron DeSantis' head is power. He just want to be he would just want to be holding that power. And this is the thing. This is why you do not give power to the people that are very naive. Naive people do not know what to do with power. The only thing that they would do is to destabilize that power in many ways, just for them to rebuild their own way of thought. The way that they came up with all of this nonsense, by the way, is appalling.
In reality, it was a white mob that killed 60 people in Ocoee after a black man tried to vote. But those guidelines are part of a new set of standards that Florida's Board of Education approved yesterday, downplaying America's history of anti-black violence. And as part of their campaign to make America Florida, state officials want to export those standards nationally.
Well, good luck, America, with the. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be leaving that country. I mean, they're already leaving already. There are people that already live in the U.S. They're like, no, I can't stay here with this madness. At the end of the day, I feel like if America goes this way, they're going to lose a lot of people. I mean, Florida has already lost a lot of workers. Let's look at that. They've lost a lot of tourists in that state. Let's look at that too. Yeah, you are literally pursuing people and also pursuing potential workers. And this is the thing. If this is imported into other states and the whole country becomes this way, I feel like a lot of people are going to leave, and that country is going to, I mean, it's already a third world country with a Gucci belt. It is what it is. Now, I'm going to bring up another video over here of people actually reacting to this news and saying what is on their mind.
Heard about this shit show, but just in case you haven't, honey, go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. Let's talk about Florida, Ron DeSantis' war on being black, and their new approved Black History standards. I declare, honey, it's a disgrace. So the Florida Board of Education has approved a controversial set of Black History standards. The standards state that students will learn about how slaves developed skills which, in some instances, could be applied for their personal benefit. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. I really want to know what part of slavery was for their personal benefit. Was it the part when they were being stolen from their homeland, brought over to a foreign country where they didn't know the language, where they were beaten, worked from sunup to sundown, when they were raped, when they were treated like cattle? I really want to know what part was for their benefit. So some of the standards include explaining early congressional action regarding the institution of slavery, explain the effect of...
I'm going to say this. Some people really want to bring back slavery. I'm just going to say some people really want to. If they could, they would bring it back. But let me tell you something. For those people that are out there thinking, oh my God, maybe we could bring it back. See, the people nowadays, this generation, our generation, you're going to find out. Because nobody's out here playing with you. For all those people that think bringing back slavery or thinking about if it was possible to bring out, because I've been seeing this TikTok thing. You know, they had this TikTok. I don't know. I don't know how you call it. They had it coming up. They were like, bring back World War III, bring World War III, or bring back slavery. And a lot of people were voting for bring back slavery. And I'm like, you people are sick. Why would you even play on any of this? Why would you? There's some really sick people out there. Some really, really sick people out there that need help because they think that, oh, maybe they should bring back slavery. Let me tell you something. It's not going to be like before, because let me tell you, you're going to catch some hands. Some real hands.
Of the cotton industry on the experience of slavery, examine the various duties and trades performed by slaves, and that includes agriculture work, painting, carpentry, tailoring, domestic service, blacksmithing, and transportation. Baby, if this ain't the most whitewashed shit I ever heard of. Now, these standards do include that students will be taught to identify famous black people, but it fails to make it necessary for students to learn about each of their contributions, challenges, and stories overall. A group of 11 organizations, including the NAACP, has sent a letter to the board president slamming the decision. In the letter, they stated, "We owe the next generation of scholars the opportunity to know the full, unvarnished history of this state and country and all who contributed to it, good and bad." And in a newly released email, the Florida Education Association expressed concern with the standards, arguing that it skews history and puts Florida students at a disadvantage. In the email, they state, How can our students ever be equipped for the future if they don't have a full, honest picture of where they come from? Ron DeSantis is pursuing a political agenda guaranteed to set good people against one another, and in the process, he's cheating our kids. They deserve the full truth of American history, the good and the bad. Now, of course, the Florida Board of Education did not respond to a request for comment. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. This man is running for president of the United States. He just finished arguing over the canceling of Jason Aldean's song, Try It in a Small Town, saying that cancel culture is wrong. But I guess it's okay for him to cancel teaching children about the history of the black people who built this country on their backs. Players, put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mobile for the Black Accurate News.
Okay, about that Jason Aldean song, I heard somebody got beat up, in one of them country concert, and now they're looking for who beat him up. Wow, and yeah, he was over there, and it was one of them people. So somebody getting beat up from their community, from their small town people. Yeah, I mean, they did say they take care of their own, but I guess they really don't. But we're going to go into this particular topic over here that I really want to talk about, because I feel like this issue, a lot of people are talking about other issues, but we're going to go into medicine over here because I want to talk about this, because this is the woman that you have no clue. A lot of people have no clue how many African American women had to suffer in the name of science and being experimented on. I'm just going to be sincere. A lot of people don't have any clue because they don't teach these things. A lot of people don't teach this kind of history. And if you bring it up, they're going to be like, bad. And we are not bad over here. So let's see how, the way they say people benefited from this. How did they benefit?
Exist because one man tortured slaves without anesthesia. We call this man the father of gynecology and give him credit for saving women's lives, and what he was doing instead was torturing black women. Talk about the horrors of modern day gynecology and the fact that we're not numb for things like cervical biopsies, and that's true. And that's because the entire practice was founded on this torture. Black women were forced to make these sacrifices in the name of research, and it's all based on a racist belief that is still prevalent in the medical field, that black people do not feel pain the same way that white people do.
Yeah, but they're out here trying to tell you benefited. This is the thing. It's like when even the originators of C-sections, let's not forget, it was African women, I can remember the country, that had the method of C-section with the mother coming out alive. The mother being alive and the baby. The successful C-section, this is the thing. A lot of these people traveled to Africa, went to learn how to do C-sections, properly by many, some cultures in Africa that already had these ideas for a long time. And then when they came back, they took, they acted as if they invented it. That's why I talk about in my last video about the alien things. They're going to learn from you and then burn down your shit and then call you primitive. There are some real hating people out here. So we're going to go on into the next one. So we got 2 videos to go before I start this podcast. Yeah, I know I've made 2 videos today, and this is the thing. These are topics that needed to be spoken. The alien topic was just I'm going to say it was important, but it was also laughable seeing people, especially the government taking people will be shocked about this, and none of us were shocked. A lot of people we're still living our normal life out here because this is information that we already know about. So we're gonna go on into the next one over here.
Makes people so angry.
Okay, I'm gonna play this one later on because this is a video that I want to play at last. I'm gonna play that one at last. So let me bring up another video that I want to play over here.
Some instances could be applied for their personal benefit.
Well, I guess the sky's the limit for caucasity around this motherfucker. So it's important to see how Black history is going to be taught in Florida and soon to be other states as well. And for reference points, when I discuss my people now, I'm having to say my people and point to myself or pop myself on the arm just so I don't say those words out loud and get my shit banned or taken down. Talk about snowflakes, right? Anywho, let's get this ball rolling. When students are instructed on the various duties and trades performed by slaves, hold on, bitch. Duties and trades is what we're calling this now. Or softening the blow. The fragility is at an all-time high, apparently, because now we call slave work duties and trades. What trade skills did they learn from slavery that benefited them in any way, shape, or form in this nation? If anybody can show me said evidence, I'll gladly shut the fuck up. Lessons must now include how these skills in some instances could be applied for their own personal benefit. Oh, motherfucker, we're going to touch on that. Give me a second. And during lessons on the growth and destruction of Black communities during the Reconstruction era, including events like the 1921 Tulsa Massacre, students must be made aware of how violence was perpetrated both quote-unquote against and by African Americans. Interesting. Let's touch on a few pieces real quick. Now, because they had high levels of caucasity and decided to say out loud that slaves learned skills that they benefit from, I thought context was super important in situations like this. So let's take a look at the wealth gap between white families and Black families. This is data from the Federal Reserve as reported by Forbes, September of 2022. The average Black household has an income of $340,599. For Latino households, it's $323,682. Now, real quick, I've never personally seen much of that myself, but I'm going to trust the data they gathered together here. And we're going to look at white households, which had an average of $1.3 million. That's a $1 million difference between Black households and white households, which puts the white household on average had about 4 times as much wealth as either Black or Latino households. But I thought slavery taught slave skills that would benefit them. That doesn't look like a benefit for slaves. It looks like a benefit for slave owners. But what really trips me out the most, though, is how people want to include Black people and the violence that took place during the Tulsa Race Massacre or the other 100+ race massacres in United States history that your schools are never going to teach you about. They want to act like Black people weren't allowed to defend themselves, their homes, or their businesses. Bitch, what? What? So they're just supposed to lay there and take the shit and let all this go down without a fight? You tell me what person would do that. Bitch, we already know what time it was if white people were on the other side of history. We wouldn't even be having discussions of how history is taught in schools. It would have been taught from day one correctly. Talk about privilege, boy.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And that is the thing that actually annoys me, because some people do understand this, but other people that are literally, I sometimes when you see these people that are out here actually supporting this, action, I'm like, are you a human being? Because sometimes I feel like your humanity have left your body. You ain't got no goddamn humanity in you anymore. So we're gonna play this last one, because you know what, conservative woman was asking why people have a problem with their conservative issues, and this man over here decided to explain it to her very, very well. Now, with that being said, that is gonna be the last video that I'm gonna play for this particular topic. Please do not forget to press the like button, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this ish that Florida is trying to put on here, because this is gaslighting in the highest level. And I'm gonna say this is just some people are just bold out here a lot, because a lot of people are not talking about what happened in history. And although we do not talk about what had happened in history a lot of time, because people be like, it was history, forget about it. You know what, forget about it, it was 10,000 years ago. As if it was 10,000 years ago. Hey, it was just yesterday, it was not that long. But they will tell you to forget about it, but later on turn around and be like, Ron came out here and talk about we are not going to be teaching critical history. They're not going to be teaching the history. Then turn around and be like, you know what, we changed your mind, we're just going to make it sound better for us. Like, are you crazy out here? It's the boldness and the caucasity for me. So we're gonna play this last video over here, and then we're gonna come back. I'm not probably not gonna come back. Sorry. So this is probably gonna be the last video of the day. Please do not forget to press the like button, because I'm gonna let this man read this lady and give all the other people in the back the reason why a lot of people have a problem with the conservative mindset. because I feel like it's like, oh, everybody gotta accept me and do what I want, and I have to be the master of everything. I have to be on top of the pedestal. And I'm like, no, nobody's gonna be putting you on no pedestal out here. You're gonna sit out here like the rest of us, and if you make noise, we're gonna call you out for making too much noise and trying to distort and trying to put other people on the whatever rules that you want to put up.
Be applied for their personal benefit.
Well, I guess the sky's the limit for
that is not the video, so I'm gonna bring up this particular video over here. What was it? Okay, this one over here.
It makes people so...
Because before we get in there, what is it about that? Is because you want your religion to be the one that everybody worships, your God, everything about you should be right. Everybody should bow down to you. You're the master race and all of that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be doing that. We will not be agreeing with that one. And the fact that a lot of these conservatives, they just, not every one of them, but a lot of them just want to shove down their ideology onto other people's throat. It's just the thing that really make people don't like you guys. Yeah.
What is it about conservative beliefs that makes people so angry?
I'm glad you asked, since I've been thinking about this exact same thing for a while now. The truth is that there isn't anything about your conservative beliefs that makes people angry. Everyone has the same right to have their own particular beliefs. What makes so many people angry is that your belief, collectively speaking, turn you into a bunch of spiteful and entitled fake-ass, self-righteous, willful, ignorant hypocrites who believe to not only be superior to anyone who don't look, think, sound, believe, and or love like you do, but to also have ownership of every damn thing because you also believe to own a God who specifically chose you to solely have his given moral authority here on earth to establish all rules and expectations for everyone else to abide to. Never mind that your beliefs have also caused you to then have the audacity to pretend being unfairly attacked victims of persecution by the people you are demanding to bow down to you and your God, when in all reality, all they're really doing is trying to free themselves from all of your possessive, abusive bullshit. I mean, maybe if your beliefs hadn't caused you to think that the superior moral character and intelligence of Obama was so horrible and evil to the extent that you felt the desperation to then replace it for the chaotic and immoral, dumb, hateful fuckery of an actual antichrist, or perhaps if your beliefs wouldn't be your favorite excuse to harass and oppress all the people you inherently despise, or maybe if your beliefs wouldn't cause you to proclaim that white supremacy doesn't even exist, when in all reality your obsessive commitment to its defense is what actually makes you conservatives, or perhaps if your beliefs wouldn't be the thing that causes you to still deny to this day that your made-up orange savior is nothing more than a selfish, fraudulent, corrupt, and evil projection of yours, maybe then we wouldn't have much reason to be angry at you about your ridiculous delusional beliefs. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a nobody who used to be one of you and now is angry as fuck for not seeing everything before as clearly as I get to see it now. Stay woke, mi gente. Dale.